All right, we're live. Uh, my name is Chad Radford, and I'm a music writer living in Atlanta, Georgia. And tonight I'm talking with Randall Frazier and Erik Drost of Orbit Service and the legendary Pink Dots. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it. So where are you at the moment? You're somewhere in Florida.
Yes, we're right outside of Orlando. Gonna have a show tomorrow in Tampa and then the day after in Orlando.
Okay.
So figured make the best of it and have a room for a couple of nights.
Nice. Nice.
Yep.
Which is probably a little, it's got to be kind of a relaxing change of pace, from
Yes,
hopping from city to city every night.
indeed, indeed. I
Yeah.
just came out of the pool, so yeah.
Nice.
And I did laundry today. So
Excellent.
yeah, things are happening.
Yeah. Very cool. Is there a hotel bar?
Yes, there was that too at the pool actually. So yeah.
That's the trademark of a good hotel right there.
Yes, indeed.
Uh, so I'll start with some basic questions and we can get a little deeper from there. But first I want to start, excuse me. Erik, I don't know a whole lot about your background. Um, I know that you've been in the Pink Dots, you were out of the Pink Dots, back in the Pink
Mhm.
Dots. You have some connections to the band Mudhoney.
Yes, well, sort of. I've been there guitar tech and in Europe and monitor engineer in Europe for since 2009. I've
Okay.
not all the tours. I did not all the tours with them, but most of them. Yes.
Okay. Where are you from?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I'm from a small town in Holland called Tiel. I live in Arnhem, which is on the east side near the border with Germany. And yeah, that's and I used to for a while I lived in Nijmegen, and this is the Pink Dots connection there.
Okay.
This is where most of the Pink Dots were based at some point.
Excellent. And do you play in any other bands when you're not touring with the Pink Dots?
I do have well, obviously I play with Orbit Service, and I have a project called Dust Bombers,
Mhm.
which is a noise rock, noise new wave project that I do with a friend of mine in Holland.
And you're always the guitar player?
Yes. Yeah. Well, 99% of the time I sometimes play bass, but that's about it. Or synth.
Cool.
Yes.
Right on. And Randall, you and I have talked a few times in the past, and we always talked about Colorado. We have a couple of mutual friends there, and you were living in Bailey, Colorado, working in Denver.
Mhm.
But recently, you relocated to Bologna in Italy.
Yeah.
What brought about the move?
Well, um, a couple of things actually. I mean, originally it's a kind of a funny thing because I went we played Bologna with the Pink Dots on the last European tour.
Mhm.
Not this one we just did in 2025, but previous to that I think was 2023. And we got to Bologna and I went out to dinner with Eric and Yoop and walked around a little bit there. We had a little time and I just really liked the vibe of that city. And I wanted to move to Europe for a really long time. I just didn't ha really have any way to make that a reality. So I called my wife at some point and said, "Oh, Bologna, Italy is amazing. You know, we should think about if we could move anywhere in Europe. I think you would like this city." Um, and I didn't think much of it at the time, but then a month later or something, I get home from the tour, and she found out that well, my wife's a Brazilian citizen,
Okay.
and her whole family is from Brazil. Most of her family is still in Brazil, except her parents moved up to the States when she was tiny. And it turns out that a lot of her family, her great grandfather had immigrated from Italy to Brazil, and a lot of her family in Brazil had actually already gotten their Italian passports and citizenship because of the lineage, because they could trace the great grandfather back to a town in Italy, and in Italy's constitution, if you can prove that your family came back, from Italy,
Mhm.
um, then they'll grant you citizenship. So at some point she said, "Well, you're not going to believe this, but most of my family already has their Italian passports, and if you really want to go to Italy, we can do it." So so we it's been a long process. I mean, it's not as easy as it sounds. And there's a lot of weird little details that we just sort of lucked out with along this path. Like her great grandfather never became a Brazilian citizen, for one. Had he naturalized and became a Brazilian citizen properly, then this wouldn't work.
Mhm.
But he never did it, and it's because they never do anything like that in Brazil. They don't care. They're it's not a big deal. And there's shitloads of Italians down there. There's tons. I think it's the largest population of Italians outside of Italy is in Brazil. So we kind of lucked out. And then while this is all happening, Italy has now changed the rules. In the middle of us doing all of this stuff, Italy changed the law to kind of restrict access to a lot of people, and now it's limited to only if your grandmother or grandfather came from Italy. You
Right.
can't go back as far, but we had already started the process, so we made it in just barely. Like if we waited 6 months, we would have missed it. Um, so anyway, we're there now. I still am working through my paperwork, um, but my wife is in, and that's all that was needed now that she's being, her paperwork's still being processed through the system there too, because everything there takes a really long time.
Yeah.
But it's all good, and they actually keep renewing her residency, uh, anticipating her citizenship, so she doesn't really have to do anything anymore. They just know that she's going to have citizenship, so we're just going to let her keep living here until it happens. Um, and then because of that, I get to keep staying there too now. So lucky break for me. It's a nice change. Um,
Yeah. If ever there was a time to take a break from the United States of America,
yeah, yeah.
I want to come live with you.
I don't remember who said it, but somebody said you got on the last lifeboat off of this shithole.
Right.
And that's true. I just barely did it. Um, but one, it's a nice change of pace because everything in Italy is very slow.
Hmm.
Um, and I like that. I need that at this point. Um, sorry, it's air conditioning. It's a nice change of pace for me,
Hmm.
um, personally, just because, I was booking concerts for 25 years in Colorado, and that's not necessarily an easy job. Um, my phone just never turned off, It was just, I never had it didn't matter what I was doing. My phone was always, I'm always getting text messages,
Right.
always phone calls at weird hours. Just, it still kind of happens. But now I can ignore it because, you um,
Yeah.
it also makes it easier to do things with Eric and Edward, and, um, you know, uh, getting to Eric's house is 90-minute flight now and relatively inexpensive. And uh, same with getting to Edwards. And it kind of all made a lot of sense in the
Yeah.
way that it happened.
It's difficult to make that transition out of a lifestyle in like booking bands or working something like that into doing something else because it's such a labor of love. And I can't speak for you, but I worked as a professional music journalist for 25 years and got used to poverty, got
Yeah.
used to a lot of disappointment, but I had a blast writing about music and it became such a big part of my personality. Um, and I pretty much I couldn't go anywhere without somebody being like, "Hey, aren't you the music writer?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's me." Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I had the same experience. I couldn't go in, especially in Denver. I
yeah.
could I could not go out. I couldn't take my wife out for a nice dinner without running into somebody who knew me and wanted to talk about booking a show or something. Um, and at some point that I kind of liked that, but after a while, that's annoying. Um,
Yeah.
so, um, and yeah, and in Italy, I'm like really anonymous.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I appreciate that. And for me, also, it wasn't like I never really intended to book shows. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, I was working as a sound engineer. Um, you know, I was doing a lot of studio work at first, and I kind of got tired of the studio because it's kind of a commitment when a band comes in to record with you. You're going to be recording that band for, most of the time, a couple of weeks at least. And if you don't like the band and you don't like the music very much, that gets to be old.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it. And so I started doing live sound more because it was easier to get money for way less commitment. Um, and then somehow that led to me starting to book for venues just because the venue owners knew that I knew all the bands in town and all the bands in town knew me and trusted me, so it was easy for me to talk to them and yeah, but I didn't really, that was never my plan. But it also paid a lot more than sound engineering, so I just
Right.
went with it.
Yeah.
And but all of that was really just trying to play music
Mhm.
and be involved in music in ways that could benefit whatever I'm doing musically, trying to stay one step ahead of the crowd a little bit. And so the change now is not really that much different because I essentially moved over there to playing the dots more.
That's
And now
great.
Eric and I are just trying to figure out how we got to get orbit service off the ground a little more over there.
Right.
So, um,
Well, how did the two of you guys meet and start working together?
um, well, the dots. I
Yeah.
mean, Eric joined the dots in 2004,
Three.
Okay.
2003. And well, the first time I met Eric was 2004 tour, and the Dots came to the United States, and at that time I was working as their press and radio promotions agent, and
Randall at massivemusic.com.
that's right, that's right,
I remember.
yeah. Um, so that's when I met Eric, because at that point they were letting me open the show for them every time they played Denver.
Hmm.
Um, And that was pretty special because they didn't really have opening acts, as far as I
No, we never
remember.
had them.
Yeah,
No.
so it was like Denver was the only place they had an opener, and it was always me. And that went on for every tour up until 2013. And then at some point, Edward just said, "Why don't you just come on the whole tour and you can also sell merch for us. Um, so I started doing that, and then, got to know Erik more just from
That was just the one tour in the end, only 2013.
no.
Yeah, because in 2016 it was with Chris.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't sell merch after that. I just
Yeah.
was the opener
Yeah.
then. Yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
And you were acting tour manager too.
Yeah, I was doing tour manager duties. Um, so yeah, I sold merch on one tour and then became sort of as much of a tour manager as the Dots have,
Our mascot.
the mascot,
mascot.
the handsome boy.
Right.
And and then that continued until
2019, and then the pandemic happened.
yes, then during the pandemic, Erik and I heard her. We had done a couple of songs together, um, just sort of here and there, just for fun.
Right.
And then when the pandemic happened, we're sound engineers. Both of us are work in the music industry. So when the pandemic happened and everything shut down, we both didn't have a lot going on. So, so I contacted Erik and said, "Hey, maybe we should work on an album. Do you want to make a record together?" And so we started there, and and that's when we came out with the Dreamless album.
Okay.
Uh, that was the first time that we really collaborated fully, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Before that, I was just playing some guitar for you, and after that, then it felt more like we were doing it together. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And we both were pretty happy with how that album came out too. So um we just kept going.
Leading up to Leave for Good.
Yeah, now we even got a new CD that um we put out right before the tour.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. The Spirit Guide.
Yes.
Um
Good. I have
and
number 16.
well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Um so that we've been playing actually a lot more off of that album than the Leave for Good album. Um I I don't know why we decided that, but
It's just because it was on our minds, I guess.
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Yeah, and that's actually kind of leads me to an interesting kind of place because I was wondering what you guys are going to be playing both with Orbit Service and with the Pink Dots. Because the last record came out, it's been a while since you guys have been here. Is this a tour supporting the most recent Legendary Pink Dots album, or is there even newer material that you're powering through?
It's mostly the two new ones, I think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
mostly So Lonely in Heaven and Chemical Play School 23 and 24.
Okay, so you're playing Chemical Play School stuff.
yes.
A little
Yes.
bit. And
Yeah, a couple of songs. Yeah.
yeah, and there's some older stuff kind of
Yeah.
sprinkled in there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. And then even so we've just released another Chemical Play School on Bandcamp while this tour's been happening.
Yeah.
Um, so we are, needless to say, we are making a lot of stuff.
Right.
Are we now?
Yeah.
Which, from your perspective, what defines a Chemical Play School release versus like an album like So Lonely in Heaven or Museum of Human Happiness?
I don't know.
It is a it is a huh. Usually the chemical play school stuff is a little bit more experimental, I guess.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, to be honest, for me there is not such a huge difference. I think it's more of a process that I don't know, really.
Yeah, I don't I think originally the concept was that it was more experimental and less structured as songs.
Yeah, but
And
like,
that may have been true for a while, but 23 and 24 especially,
yeah,
it isn't like that. It could have been its own album.
yeah.
Um, I
I
think,
think what Edward does is he collects a couple of songs together, like 10 or 12 songs that will fit onto an album that the record company will put out. And then there is like a in his expansive universe of songs, there is more that we have worked on that have um a better place on a record by themselves or something.
yeah.
I feel that, yeah. He makes the in the end he makes the decision which song goes on which record.
Right.
I
Right.
do think 25 is a little more experimental.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but not crazy.
Yeah.
And it's still legitimate
It's
songs.
song build songs. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
I always feel like there's something cohesive about it. Like there's an intangible element that makes it a chemical play school release.
yeah,
And I don't know if it's like an improvisational element or I mean, just experimenting with different things. But there's something identifiable about it. Uh,
yeah.
but as someone who writes a lot about music, I've never really found a good way to put it into an easy sentence. You know?
Yeah,
I think it is in the end it is the stuff that Edward feels is part of the chemical play school.
Right.
It is maybe more in his mind than in uh, I can only talk for myself, but speak for myself, but more in his mind than in my mind. It is a different entity.
Hmm.
yeah, because the the 23 and 24 album, um, we made that at the same time. It was part of the same material.
Yes.
So at first, we didn't know what was going to be on what album. We were just making all these songs at the same time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it may be about how the final album flows as a whole. Uh, I don't know. I'm with Eric on that. We don't really.
Yeah, he does seem to have a very distinct idea about some songs that are part of the Chemical Place School over and some of them are not. But yeah, this we're just guessing at this point.
Maybe it's not for us to understand.
That's right. Yes. We can ask him to come back from the pool and talk about that.
He's at the pool right now.
Yes, he is.
You guys were both like Legendary Pink Dots fans before you sort of became members of the band, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, what's it like entering into that universe? I mean, the Legendary Pink Dots have existed since '81, and they have a tremendous back catalog, and there's been a lot of people that have come and gone from the lineup, and some of it is kind of I guess for lack of a better, there's a sort of a canon involved here. Uh,
Mhm.
is it intimidating to come into this world, or is it liberating? Like, do you feel empowered in new ways than ever before?
Go ahead.
Uh, I mean, I guess for me personally, um, coming in and sort of taking over the role of Phil, um, that at first was a little bit intimidating,
I can
uh,
imagine.
but not so much anymore. And it's funny because for at least for me, um, teenage Randall would be super impressed.
Hmm.
And if you told me this 20 years ago was what was going to happen, I wouldn't have believed it. But I also, it's not like I just met these guys.
Hmm.
Um, so the flip side of the coin is it didn't feel that surreal, um, because I already knew them really well, and we were already doing a lot of shows and things
Hmm.
together. Anyway,
As a matter of fact, when I heard that Phil was going to quit, then I called Edward and literally we both had the only person that we thought was going to fit was Randall. So it's like, yeah, so yeah, it was easy enough to get you involved.
I was training for this moment.
Right.
We've been training you for this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what's I think kind of what's the most intriguing thing for me is that you have an identity as Orbit Service, and you're coming into this other world, legendary pink dots, and expanding upon it, like pushing it forward. Like
Mhm.
you say you kind of filled the role of Phil, but you brought your own elements to it. You're not like a cover band, you know?
Oh no.
No, no.
Um,
No, but the thing is that I mean, um, w- w- we need somebody to cover the cover that the ground that Phil left
mhm,
open, and some of that is just from a technical point of view, and some of it is the yeah, we need Edward to be able to perform his vision, and we are both. That's how I feel about it actually. I mean, we both performed the tapestry that is for him to work off on. And um, I don't know what I was going to say with this, but it sounds good at the moment. But yeah, so we are. So there is definitely a supporting role for both of us, I think, and also a role and there is a lot of room to step up and make something of it. That's how I felt for sure when I joined the Dots too. I mean, back then there was this huge body of work already done, and I, I, I was only 27 years old or maybe younger when I joined. So it's like I, there was so much. It was daunting at first, but I also found out that there was so much room to do your own thing,
mhm.
and that this was actually encouraged too, very much to
Yeah,
come up with something new every day.
Right.
that that's true. Same with me. Like Edward is very um he doesn't tell us what to do at all.
No,
Um he loves it when we surprise him. And
yeah,
so in that regard, it's cool. It's very interesting. It's a weird process to
oh
write
yeah.
some Pink Dots albums. It's come together very strangely compared to other bands. Um,
Tell me more about the strangeness of it.
well, I mean,
Mm,
it's just so non-linear is
yes,
the
it
word I
works
would
in
use.
mysterious ways. Yes.
Yes, there is there are no rules. Um, we don't talk about it really.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
everybody puts something in the cauldron and it gets stirred up to a something amazingly weird.
yeah, and sometimes you get a cake, and
Yeah,
sometimes you get a steak.
yeah. And sometimes it's a soup. Yeah.
Sometimes it stays soup. You just never know.
I
I
love
guess
it.
this is the best. This is the best way to put it.
Right. Do you guys remember the first song that you ever finished as a Pink Dot song?
Uh, um, I do actually. As the soft toy from the Whispering Wall. That what took the most effort from me, and also the was the most first thing I worked on basically, and that was fun. That was interesting. Curious time.
Yeah, I think mine was Gone to Pieces or The Cult of the Affordable Dentist, and both of those are on the Chemical Play School 2324. I think
Okay.
those first things.
Non-linear.
Non-linear, yes.
Do you guys play those songs in your current set?
Not right now.
Not those particular songs, but we don't play anything very old from my past, but
Mm.
just beyond that. Yeah.
No, let's see. We're playing some stuff from Angel in the Detail.
Yeah. The museum.
Yeah.
I'm sure by now everybody has seen the set list that wants to see it.
Yeah. It's
I try not to look.
there's only a few older songs in the set. Most of the stuff we're playing is off of the So Lonely in Heaven and Chemical Play School 2324.
And the museum. Is
And
there?
Museum. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a good
Yeah.
handful from
Yeah.
them.
I kind of feel like it's always been like that with the Pink
Yeah.
Dots. Like it's always the most recent. They're drawing from the most recent body of work, and then they'll throw a couple of,
Yes.
Andromeda Suite or something like that in there from back in the day.
You kind of have to because there's so much old material that you could go on and on
Yeah, we could do
for
a
hours.
6 hour show,
Yeah,
Mhm.
no
easily.
worries. Yeah.
Hmm.
And still
So,
people will be disappointed.
so let me ask you this: Is there a legendary Pink Dots album that really resonates with you more than the others, or one that you think of as like a favorite, or kind of your go-to when you're gonna pull a record off the shelf?
Well, I do like the Whispering Wall a lot.
Okay.
Well,
Because for me, that was personally a very special um, album because that was the first time I worked as their publicist.
Okay.
And that's sort of what kicked off this whole friendship was that album. And it's also the first time Erik made an appearance. So a lot of parallels for us in that regard on that album
yeah.
and that
Yeah.
tour.
The Whispering Wall.
For
Yeah,
me,
there's so many of them. Uh, and it's I'm not even aware. Like I've spent so much time listening to these records that you just keep moving forward, listen to other things, and then you'll go back to something like The Whispering Wall, and you're like, remember, like I know all of these songs, like, and I could not have told you that those songs were on that album, but I still know them. For me, the go-to legendary Pink Dots records are always going to be Shadow Weaver, the first one, because I think that was the first one that I really got ensconced in this music. I have a memory of somebody being in the back of a car that didn't have a tape deck, and there was like a boom box and a box full of dubbed cassettes, and there was like a unlabeled cassette that I put in. It was a Tear Garden record, the Center Bullet, and I already knew the music of Skinny Puppy, and I remember hearing it and just my synapses instantly getting rewired and saying like, "What is this?" And somebody said, "That's like the guys from Skinny Puppy." And so that was way before the internet existed. So definitely going down that rabbit hole and going to the record store and finding Shadow Weaver was the record that just came out, and so that will always be a special one for me. But the Legendary Pink Box, like that was another one that reading the liner notes and it says this is an abridged discography. And I'm like, there's like so many titles here. What what could we cut out? Uh, and going from there. So those will always be like those are the ones that really kind of altered my DNA, so to speak. Um, But we'll go back to the Whispering Wall, and that was Erik's first appearance, and you were working with them, and you guys got to know each other around that time. 2003, I think, is when that came out. Is it 2004?
It came out in 2004, yeah.
Right. And then the two of you over time have become orbit service. You were doing it for years on your own, but now it feels like it's this is the lineup, Randall and Erik. And
Yeah.
how how has so that relationship has evolved kind of independently of the legendary pink dots, and you're pursuing a very different style of your songwriting with Orbit Service than you are with the legendary pink dots. And I wanted to ask, how do you sort of perceive the difference? Like what's going on with Orbit Service?
Well, I I mean, I don't really approach them that much differently,
Okay,
um, other than I mean, orbit service. Obviously, I'm worried more about writing the lyrics and singing, um, and I lean on Erik more, I think. Um, and this is also like we don't really discuss what we're doing. Um, I'll sort of put some basic tracks down and then send it to Erik as a multi-track, a package of tracks, and then he's free to do whatever he wants. I give him all of the tracks so that if something is in the way, he can get rid of it. Um, and then he's not even limited to guitar. He's on the newest thing, he's playing synthesizers and stuff. So it's that I don't know, it's not that much different the way we put it together, I guess. Um,
No, no, but there is a distinctly well, there is a distinctly different feel to the music, though. I mean, it requires a different approach to record these songs.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I yeah, I guess that's just natural.
Uh-huh.
I feel like in terms of working in the on the legendary pink dots, I know the legendary pink dots very well because I was a fan. So
sure.
I go in naturally with a different mindset, I think, on what
Hmm.
I'm trying to make, what sounds I'm trying to make.
Yeah, and for Orbit Service, you're really the songwriter and the lyricist too. So it's like it's much more your baby, and then of course, yeah, and your yeah, a look into your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say though, since Leave for Good and with Spirit Guide, there is like a tangible um, maybe expansion on what we got with some of the older albums, which I guess naturally will come when you've got another member in the group. Uh,
Mhm.
but do you guys, would you say that you're co-songwriters now, or is it still more from the mind of Randall Frazier?
No, I think it's a collaborative effort. Because a lot of these things, especially when I first send them to Erik, they're really just sketches a lot of times.
Hmm.
And they don't actually become real until I get his parts back. Um, and then I might change what I did to sort of work more uh, coexist with what Erik added. Um, so it's a weird or organic sort of evolution of a basic idea. And a lot of times, especially at the beginning of the process, I'm mostly worried about getting the words to work, or uh, that's the hardest part for
Yeah,
me. So a lot of times what I send to Erik is really just a vague idea of what it could be.
right.
It doesn't
Yeah.
always stay that way.
And Eric's another set of eyes and ears looking at these songs, sort of like helping to realize what they could possibly become, or
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
taking away, adding to, that sort of thing.
right. Filling in holes in the space that didn't have something, or and yeah, he's noticing things that I maybe didn't notice. And he's also coming to this from a different set of influences, and um, so that in that, I mean, Eric and I meet midway on a lot of music. We tend to like a lot of the same stuff, but then there's also like the fringes of what I like and the fringes of what Eric like are different, and so we kind of make a nice mixture
Yeah.
when it. We could make a playlist together, and it would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You guys need to do that.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Perfect idea there. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because for a few, it happened a few times now, well, maybe twice now, that I got some tracks from you and the vocals didn't transfer. So I get this long track with no vocals that I was like, okay, I'll do something with this. And then it turned out there was vocals with it, and I hear this song back, and it's like, oh, all the holes that I left that were apparently were already filled with vocals. This happened on this on the Dreamless album, and it's like
Mm.
it's a great if you hear that separately, his track, my track is works put together. It is like it works really well. It's
Yeah,
mind blowing. Yeah,
that has happened a couple of times.
yeah,
I like messed up the transfer and forgot to put in some of the pieces to him, and he didn't realize that I was missing parts because how could he? He just took
Right,
whatever I sent him. So then he sends his parts back. I still didn't realize that he hadn't heard this, the other pieces that were missing.
right.
I put it all together and send him the demo mix of it, and he's like, "Holy shit, where'd all that stuff? That's amazing!" And I was like, "What? You didn't have that stuff?" And it's like it's like amazing
yeah,
because it's like really the holes were already
yeah.
there, and he just sort of sensed where it should be and filled it, and yeah, that's pretty crazy. And
And
that's
that
happened more than once.
yes, and it's happening with Pink Dots now too. So this is actually an exciting thing where even on stage where there is things that are happening and they are just work it's just magically complementing each
That
other.
is,
It's like,
yeah.
yeah,
There's a thing on the new chemical play school, the 25, where Edward sent us the tracks to work on at the same time. So I'm in Italy, Eric's in the Netherlands. We're both putting parts down, and there is one song where um, it goes into a change, and the line I playing on the keyboard is exactly like the line on Eric's guitar. Without hearing each other, without talking about it, we played the
yeah,
same line.
yeah. Yes.
It's crazy. So it's like
Yeah,
it sounds like we were doing this together,
hmm
but I didn't,
very much not.
no one knows.
I think that's called chemistry.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where that's the chemical part of chemical play school. It's the learning to trust each other's instincts
Yeah,
and
yeah,
making it something that's like greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like Eric said, it's happening on the stage a lot too, where we just sort of we're paying attention to each other. Um,
Yeah, I wanted to ask if like how much of a role does improvisation play in what you guys are doing when you're playing on stage together?
I mean, the song structure's there.
Mm,
There's something we can't uh stray too far off
hmm
course because of that. But then the shows are different every night.
I try to do something different every night. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And indeed, some things you find out some things work, and then you try them again, and they might work differently that time. And so some of the structure gets sort of like consolidated. But I mean, the next tour basically, because nothing gets written down, basically the next tour you have to find it all out again, and which makes for very interesting shows again
yeah.
because a song may take off in a totally different direction. that has happened a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've always kind of picked up on, like not with just Orbit Service and Pink Dots, but with other bands as well. I know Swans
Hmm.
kind of did an exercise in that with their new album. But you can write the songs and you can get the band together and play the songs in the studio and record the songs. But then when you take it out onto the stage in front of an audience, it streamlines itself. It's sort of like it sort of it writes itself into
Yeah,
more executable kind of ways, I guess, or it takes on a life of its own.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah,
very
I would
cool
even
thing.
say like the vibe of the whole everything that we play um is a lot different than how it is on the album.
Oh yeah.
A lot. Um and that just sort of happened naturally.
Hmm.
Um but I feel like the live set is a lot more like fierce.
Hmm.
Um the album kind of seems tame now to me, like compared to what we do on the stage.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
for sure.
it's
Yeah. And some shows will be more psychedelically inclined, and some will be more fierce. And yeah, they are. Yeah.
You gotta put out a live record.
talk to you.
Calling all bootleggers.
We'll
Yeah.
talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's always awesome. I that hearing live versions of songs like take on a life of their own is always great. Um, so well, in that context, when you think about the songs that are on the new record, like Burn Down Everything and The Moth, things like that, you're playing a lot of stuff from the new record, right?
Yeah.
Um, what's been, do you have highlight moments of watching things evolve or just sort of really inhabiting the songs while you're playing them?
Um, I mean, actually, one of the favorites for me, in this set actually is off of the Dreamless album. We play In Pictures, which is the last song on the Dreamless album. That I really like that one.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I kind of like the whole set we do is I feel like is really nice. It's super super subdued and like hypnotic.
Hmm.
I would say it's the most mellow set I've ever done.
Mellow yet fierce.
Well, the Pink Dots is fierce. I wouldn't say that the Orbit set is fierce. I
Okay.
feel
Okay.
like it's very very hypnotic and trance inducing.
So that's a good balance, the yin and yang of mellow and fierce. You guys
So
and
there's a very contemplative side. It is, well, for me at
Yeah,
least, it
yeah.
is. It's
It's
very,
very thoughtful.
yeah.
Yeah.
and
It's and Yoop is running our sound.
mm,
Um which I think is also like that's important because um it allows us to make the songs the way that we intended them to be. We're
yeah,
not kind of working with a handicap at all. Um, because he can deliver it just the way we want to do it. And
Yeah.
it comes out that way to the audience, where it hasn't been historically, that's not the case with my, especially with my singing. Because I tend to sing very quietly on a lot of the albums, but
right.
that's also very difficult to do on the stage unless you have someone like Yoop who knows how to handle that.
Oh,
Well, he's also been on the road with you several times and is intimately familiar with your whole approach,
Yes.
as opposed to the random sound guy at every bar in Edmonton.
That is rough. Yeah.
Can't imagine. But I have to imagine that legendary Pink Dots fans are pretty cool and pretty accepting of a lot of stuff. And how has Orbit Service been received since the two of you have really started working as a unit.
I I think it's been very nice. Very,
Yeah, people have been very nice to us. They're
yeah,
very quiet and listening to the songs, as far as I can tell. And yeah, the response is very good, I
yeah.
would say. Yeah.
I would say so too. The
Tomatoes at you or anything.
No,
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 no, no, no.
it's funny because when we first get up on the stage as the orbit set is
Mhm.
starting, um, people are having drinks, there's music playing, everybody's talking and
Yeah, people are
being
still coming in.
having fun and being loud. And once we start, it's silent. It just turns to silence and people sit there for 45 minutes and listen to it intently and nobody, at least on not that I've heard on this whole tour, nobody makes a sound. Um, so that's pretty that's pretty amazing to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been in the audience and experienced that. So I think, yeah, that is a very cool thing to be a part of, or to bear witness to. That people are that interested and invested in the music that they're going to stop talking, you know,
Mhm.
until the bartender flings a beer bottle across the bar into the trash can and it smashes.
Yeah,
I remember going to see the band Low many years ago when Low was still kind of a new band in Iowa City at Gabe's Oasis, and it was like that dead silence, and the bartender was just like, Psh, just over
yeah.
and over again. I'm just like, what are you doing? Are you not witnessing what the rest of us are witnessing? Um,
That it feels like a Low concert almost. Because I went to see Low.
yeah,
Uh, and
I
it was
wasn't.
the same vibe. It was like everybody just stopped what they were doing and it's just so hypnotic.
yeah,
Have you seen?
Yeah, I've seen low. I wish we get to that point at some
Well,
point, but who knows? Yeah.
I'm not saying we're like Low. I'm saying that the audience response is
Oh,
similar to.
right,
Yeah, I love that band.
yeah,
The good one.
excellent. So, you're halfway through the tour right now. You made
yep.
it to Florida. What
Hmm.
what has been like? Do you have any highlights from this outing? Like different cities? I know you were in Albuquerque, Houston, San Diego. Any standouts?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
They've all been. First things first. They have all been interesting shows to do. Everything has been a journey to me. Some shows I like, of course, better. I like my personal performance better than others, but
Right.
uh, Salt Lake City was fun. For example, even though it was our first show of the tour.
Salt Lake
Uh,
City.
yeah, yeah. What was a good one?
um,
Oh, Austin was pretty good, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Austin was good. Houston also was
Yep.
actually really good. Um,
Yeah.
I like the San Fran show too.
Yeah.
I I like that venue a lot. Um,
Was it the church or the chapel or
Apple, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
All of
yeah,
those cities are incredibly different places with incredibly different vibes. Yeah. I've there was a while there are you familiar with Jandek? You know Jandek the artist?
I've heard of Jandek. I don't know much.
It's difficult music. I nerded out on it for several years, and even got to like talk. He's anonymous, but
Okay.
I got to talk with him a little bit and sort of developed a friendship with him. But one of the big things about him playing live was that he really soaked up the environment, and like he would come to say Atlanta, for example, having never been here before, and just like wander around for a few days
Oh, yeah.
and let the city sort of inform his performance. Um, and I've always really enjoyed the act of going to other cities and seeing music in a room full of people who I don't know on a stage that I don't know, and it really kind of informs my perception of that city, maybe in ways that other people aren't sort of dialed into. Um, but I think that's very cool. Like saying that like Salt Lake City was a very cool show on par with Austin, Texas, which is known like Salt Lake City is kind of known for being this sort of conservative, you know, very Mormon heavy place, versus
Mhm.
Austin, Texas, which is like a live music capital of the United States. Um, but I think the legendary Pink Dots kind of allows room for the time and place to affect the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you've
yeah,
felt that?
yeah. And I think that I mean we have the for us as Orbit Service, we have the enormous advantage of having a Pink Dots audience in the room. They're already open to a lot of stuff that is going to happen, and it's not like we have to. Uh, it's not like we're playing at the local Starbucks for yeah, for people that happen to show up. I mean, this is really a huge advantage for us. I'm certain of it.
Yes. Oh, I agree with that. Um, it's like the people that are already there for the dots are,
They're
I think by
open-minded.
nature
Yeah,
they're open to whatever you throw at them.
yeah, yeah. And in that respect, I feel more of a. I mean, sure, there are differences between the cities, but I do feel um, that there is a lot more similarities between the Dots fans all over the world than differences,
Yeah.
almost.
You
Yeah,
know, trying to figure out the best way to say this. I know that over the years, um, it's almost like a fraternity or like a
yeah,
club.
yeah,
I see the same names on the Friends of the Legendary Pink Dots Facebook page that I've seen like in some form or another for decades. And then it almost feels like family members.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I met Chris Macbeth through the mail when he was doing his record label, and met him face to face when he was selling merch when you guys played at the Drunken Unicorn here many years ago. And it was very strange. It was like I already know this person, you know. And some of the other people that I see that are chiming in constantly. And I don't know if any other band has that kind of fan like friendship between fans. I mean, I don't know. I haven't experienced that. I mean, does Mudhoney have the same like dozen people around the country that are always just sort of like that support network wherever you go, you're gonna
I
see
think
them?
well, some other people obviously there is a fan network of Mudhoney fans, but
Mhm.
there is also a lot of people that come to the show and to have a good time, and it is
Sure.
um, there is definitely a group of people that have been following them for many years, but there's also a lot of people that just, well, I don't want to say that they happen to be at the show, but I mean that are new to the music or that are, and with the Pink Dots, it kind of happens less. I feel there's a there obviously there's new people there too, but there is the
Yeah.
core of followers or maybe yeah people who like this music are is uh, is pretty consistent, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Also, I mean, our audiences are I mean, I guess, well, especially in Europe, Mudhoney plays to big audiences, and we obviously um, have moderate audiences, I would say, in all honesty.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I think it's also certain people are just they're so invested in the band that
Yeah.
we know they're gonna be there.
Right.
You know, and a lot of them we actually do know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you get to know these people. I mean, we don't like know them like that well or anything, but um
But you feel an instant kinship with them when you meet them, when you come to the
Yeah.
Unicorn.
yeah, and you know, you see them outside before the show or something and you
Yeah.
know their name, you know, and they um yeah, so and I think that's sort of unique to the Dots in
Yeah.
a
I
way,
think so too.
Right.
because Edward also knows them, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's um It also spends a lot of time talking to them online.
Yeah,
Um, so it doesn't feel like there's not as much of a boundary between band versus audience in this group.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a great way to phrase it. I think that's, I've definitely experienced that and I've witnessed it with other people at Pink Dot shows as well. It's like there's the 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 separation is not there, you know.
Yeah. We all come out after the show and we're easy to talk to if that's what you want to do.
Right.
We're definitely available there.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not every band does that,
Oh, that's true.
but yeah, that's it's something. It's a very singular thing I have encountered with legendary Pink Dots fans over the years. I'll be at a show and I'll see somebody that I know from the Facebook page or something like that, and then they know who I am. They'll be like, Chad, and I'm like, Ben.
Yeah. No, it's weird.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So what's next for you guys in terms of orbit service, legendary Pink Dots? Um, once the tour is done, um, where do you go next? More.
Well, we're trying to push for some more Europe shows. There's a lot of Europe we haven't done yet, so maybe we can get that off the ground,
Yep.
hopefully.
And it
Uh,
would be fun to do some orbit shows in Europe too.
yeah, that's something I haven't really put a lot of effort into yet, so I think um, we have to.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, hopefully we can get some orbit service shows over in Europe.
Do you have
Um,
a destination in Europe that you're really like you would really like to make happen?
For orbit shows,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
anywhere.
anywhere works. Um, I imagine that we'll kind of start around our home bases, so some Italian shows and
Some Dutch shows,
some
yeah.
Dutch shows.
Have you
Uh,
played in Italy much?
Me as orbit service?
Yeah.
Uh, no. I went on one European tour opening for the Dots, but we
Oh yeah,
didn't go to Italy.
that's right. And it's many years ago now.
Yeah, that was a very long time. That was 2013.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was only 2 weeks. Um, I know we played Paris, but I can't remember much else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cologne,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not, I guess I'm not really sure about the geography. Is Bologna part of Tuscany or is it further north?
It's not, it's right next door to Tuscany. It's in the Emilia-Romagna.
Okay. I've spent,
Center.
I've spent a little time there, in Tuscany, I should say, and like Rome, Florence, Assisi.
We're very close to Florence.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, it's a 30-minute bu train to Florence
Oh,
from,
nice.
yeah. Bologna is sort of a nice place to be because it's you can get to anywhere in Italy pretty quickly from Bologna.
Okay.
You're in the, like
Yeah, it's a very central north. Yeah, just yeah.
Excellent. Well, I hope it happens, but I also hope that I see you guys touring the States more as well, in future years. Um,
Hope you're right. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
that'd
I
be
don't know
great.
what the future has in store. I don't know if it's getting increasingly difficult to come here from Europe or not. I mean, I kind of suspect that it is. Um, but was it difficult for you guys to get the pink dots here? I know
It was.
I wrote a letter to
Oh
US.
yeah, that's right. Chad wrote one of the sponsor
Oh
letters for that.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Thank you for that. And but it is. Um, there is some hoops you have to jump through,
Mhm.
but once they are all in place, then the machine starts turning, and it kind of went okay, I have to say. I was kind of scared about it this time around, But when I got to the border, when I tried to get in, it was actually the person, the immigration officer that I had was very friendly. There was no issue at all. So it is a luck of the draw, I guess, too. It's yeah.
Good to
But
hear.
yeah.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, I think we were all kind of nervous about
Yeah,
how this was going
yeah.
to be.
Yeah. Writing the sponsor letter, I was just like, of course I'll write a sponsor letter. I'm going to write a Pulitzer Prize winning to get these guys back in the States. I want to see the show. You know,
That
I'm happy to
helps a
work with
lot.
you guys.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it only gets better from here. So, well, I've had you guys for about an hour, so we can call it there. And I'll see you in Atlanta later this week.
Nice.
And
Mhm.
I'll be in touch. I'll let you know as soon as this goes up on the internet. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you too, Chad.
Definitely.
You,
Yes.
you got our Waffle House picture.
Yes, got the Waffle House picture.
Very important to us.
Yes.
Yes. So what's your go-to at the Waffle House? We'll end it with the Waffle House. What's your go-to?
My go-to is pecan waffle, extra crispy.
Okay, Randall?
I usually eat the bacon Philly cheesesteak melt sandwich.
Okay. And how about Edward?
Edward always eats the same.
Yeah, hash browns, two eggs over
Easy.
easy.
All right.
And
That's
tea. Go
Steve.
for
Oh
it.
yeah. He is British. Uh,
Yes, he is. Very
part
much so.
of the culture. I got a Waffle House about a half a mile from here. So I'm gonna go get some hash browns with two eggs over easy.
And ask for marmalade. Yeah. No matter how many times they tell you they don't have it, just keep trying.
You got marmalade, right?
Marmalade.
Marmalade. All right. I'm gonna do it. Cool. Well, we can call it there. Thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you later this week.
See you later,
See
Chad.
you later.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye. If I can figure out how to end it. All right.